Welcome back. Please like, share the video, and subscribe to the channel.
Hi everyone, welcome to News Bites. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. Today we're talking about a very big decision by President Trump regarding international money and security.
That's right. President Trump just declared a national emergency. He wants to protect billions of dollars belonging to the Venezuelan government.
Wow, billions of dollars? Where is all that money right now?
It's actually being held right here, inside the United States. President Trump wants to make sure that other people, like private companies or foreign courts, cannot take it.
I see. So he is basically freezing the money so it stays put.
Exactly. He signed a special order saying that keeping this money safe is very important for the national security of the U.S.
Right. The White House explained that they don't want predatory groups taking the funds. They want to keep the money safe while they handle the political crisis in Venezuela.
Exactly. By keeping the money, President Trump has more power or leverage to help fix the situation in that region later.
That makes sense. It's like a safeguard. But there's more news about Cuba too, right?
Yes. President Trump also sent a very strong warning to Cuba. He said they need to make a deal with Washington soon.
And if they don't make a deal?
If they don't, President Trump suggested that all the oil and money flowing from Venezuela to Cuba could stop completely.
Wow, that is a huge move. He is really using maximum pressure to change how things work in South America.
It really is a bold plan. While some critics worry it might make legal debts harder to settle, the administration says it is a necessary step.
It's definitely a story to watch. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. Welcome to the show. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. Today we have a very important update regarding President Trump and the rising tensions in Iran.
That's right, Jamie. Things are reaching a boiling point. President Trump recently announced that the United States is considering very strong options to respond to the violence in Iran.
Wow, strong options. That sounds serious. What kind of options is he talking about?
Well, he spoke to reporters on Air Force One and mentioned a few things. It could be military strikes, more economic sanctions, or even secret cyber weapons.
For our listeners, sanctions are like rules that stop a country from trading or making money, right?
Exactly. It's a way to pressure the government.
So why is this happening right now?
It's because of the protests in Iran. People are angry about the economy, but the Iranian government is using force to stop them. Reports say over 500 people have died and 10,000 have been arrested.
That is so sad. No wonder President Trump said the government crossed a red line by hurting its own citizens.
Right. He wants to help the protesters. He even mentioned working with Elon Musk to bring internet access back to the Iranian people.
Oh, I heard about that. The government there caused a digital blackout so people couldn't use the internet to talk to the world.
Exactly. But Iran is also making threats. They said if the U.S. attacks, they will target American ships and military bases.
It sounds like a very dangerous situation. What happens next?
President Trump is holding a big meeting with his National Security Council this Tuesday. He says the U.S. might act very soon.
We will definitely keep a close watch on this. Thanks for the update, Alex.
You're welcome. See you next time, everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our daily news catch-up. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. Today we have a very big story about a growing fight in Washington that is shaking the global markets.
That's right. It involves President Trump and the head of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell.
So, Alex, tell us, what happened exactly?
Well, the Department of Justice just served Jerome Powell with subpoenas. Basically, a subpoena is a legal order to provide information for an investigation.
Wow, a subpoena for the chair of the Fed? That is very serious. What are they investigating?
They are looking at the renovation of the Federal Reserve's headquarters. It cost $2.5 billion. President Trump has repeatedly slammed the project, calling it excessive and wasteful.
I see. But usually the Fed is supposed to be independent from the president, right?
Exactly. But President Trump and Powell have been feuding for a long time over interest rates and government spending. This legal move is the most severe phase of their public argument yet.
Right. And because of this news, the stock markets are feeling very shaky. On Monday, markets in the US and Asia showed a lot of volatility.
You're right. Stock futures fell because investors are worried about a leadership vacuum. They are afraid the world's most powerful bank might lose its leader.
And President Trump already mentioned he is looking for a replacement for Powell since his term ends this May.
Wow. Plus, the administration might fire another official, Governor Lisa Cook. It looks like a major overhaul of the bank.
When things are this uncertain, many investors start buying gold to stay safe.
It is definitely a tense time for the economy. Thanks for joining us to break this down.
See you next time.
Welcome to the show. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. Today we have a very serious story from the world of international law.
Right. We are talking about the International Court of Justice, or the ICJ. It's a famous court in a place called The Hague.
Exactly. Currently, there is a landmark case happening. The country of Gambia is accusing Myanmar of genocide against the Rohingya people.
Now, genocide is a very heavy word for our learners. It basically means trying to destroy a whole group of people. It's one of the most serious crimes in the world.
Wow, it really is. This case focuses on what happened back in 2017. The court is now looking at the merits. That means they are checking the actual evidence and witness stories.
Right. Gambia's legal team says the military in Myanmar committed terrible acts, but Myanmar's representatives deny everything. They claim they were only fighting rebels.
This is a big deal for global politics. Even here in Washington, President Trump is keeping a close eye on these hearings.
Exactly. President Trump and the U.S. government care about international law. If the court rules against Myanmar, President Trump might decide to use even more sanctions to pressure them.
Sanctions are like punishments, right? Like stopping trade or money?
Exactly, Jamie. It makes a country very isolated from the rest of the world.
Well, for many survivors, these hearings are a beacon of hope. It's the first time their stories are being told in such a big public way.
It really is a milestone for human rights. The hearings will continue until late January, so there is a lot more to come.
We will definitely keep you updated. Thanks for listening and learning with us.
See you next time.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the show. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. Today, we're talking about a very important trip. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz is in India.
Right. He arrived in the city of Ahmedabad early Monday morning. This is his first big official state visit to the country.
Wow, his first one. So why is he there, Alex?
Well, he is meeting Prime Minister Modi. They want to talk about big things like trade, green energy, and defense.
Exactly. They want to build a strong partnership. Germany even wants to help India make more technology and use less Russian military equipment.
This is very interesting timing. With President Trump leading the United States right now, these international partnerships are more important than ever for global trade.
That's a great point. But it's not just business, right? I saw photos of the Chancellor at a kite festival.
Yes, he also visited the Sabarmati Ashram. It's called cultural diplomacy, using local traditions to build friendship between the two nations.
That sounds lovely. But I heard there is one difficult topic they might discuss.
You mean the case of Ariha Shah?
Yes, she is a young Indian child who has been in German foster care for 4 years. Many people in India want PM Modi to ask Chancellor Merz to send her back home.
Right. It's a very emotional and sensitive issue. Many activists are watching these meetings closely to see if there is a solution.
It's a mix of serious politics and human stories. After Gujarat, where is the Chancellor going?
He's heading to Bengaluru next to see India's famous technology hubs.
Wow, he is very busy. It's great to see these two countries working so closely together.
Definitely. Well, that's all for today. Thanks for listening to our simple news update.
See you next time. Goodbye.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our show. Today, we have some very exciting news about the global stock market.
That's right, Alex. Usually when we think of big technology companies, we think of Silicon Valley. But right now, the spotlight is moving toward Asia.
Exactly. In just the first 2 weeks of 2026, Asian tech stocks jumped by 6%. That is much higher than the 2% gain we saw on the NASDAQ in New York. The East is officially outperforming Wall Street.
Wow, that is a huge gap. Why are investors moving their money across the ocean?
Well, it is all about artificial intelligence, or AI. You see, to build AI, you need physical hardware and semiconductors. Asia is the world leader in making these essential parts.
I see. So companies like Samsung and TSMC are the stars of the show.
You got it. Samsung's profits recently tripled, and TSMC is making much more money than experts predicted. They are the backbone of the global AI boom.
You know, here at home, President Trump is constantly pushing for a strong American economy. But even with President Trump's focus on U.S. business, many global investors say Asian stocks are a better deal right now.
Right. Many U.S. stocks have become very expensive. But in Asia, the stock prices are still lower, even though the companies are very powerful. It's like buying a high-quality product at a discount.
That makes sense. And I heard that new AI startups in China are also doing very well.
Yes, their new stocks are having a great start. It seems the center of gravity for tech is really shifting.
It's a big change. We are moving from software-heavy American tech to hardware-focused Asian tech.
Definitely. 2026 is looking like a transformative year. Thanks for joining us today.
See you next time.
Welcome back to the show. Today, we are talking about a very cool way to shop online.
That's right, Alex. A British company called Burbank just won a big prize, the 2026 Startups Tech Award.
I heard about this. They created something called CPOI technology. But for our listeners, what does that actually mean?
Well, you know how we usually type in long credit card numbers when we buy things on our phones?
Oh, I hate that. It takes so long and I always make mistakes.
Exactly. With Burbank's new technology, you don't have to type anything. You just tap your physical credit card against your own smartphone.
Wow. So is it just like paying for coffee in a real store?
Precisely. It brings tap and pin security to the internet. This makes it much harder for criminals to steal your money.
That is a real game changer. You know, with the economy being so important right now, I think even President Trump would be impressed by how this helps businesses grow.
For sure. President Trump often talks about modernizing technology. This helps small businesses because it is a cheap and very safe way to accept payments anywhere in the world.
How does it work on so many different types of phones?
Great question. The team spent almost 20 years building this. It uses the cloud to turn 2 billion smartphones into payment machines.
20 years? That is a lot of hard work.
It really is. The judges loved it because it is easy to use but very high-tech. They already have £5 million to start moving into different countries.
So soon we can say goodbye to typing card numbers forever.
Right. It's simple, fast, and secure.
I love that. Thanks for explaining it, Jamie.
Anytime. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Hello and welcome. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. Today we are talking about a big story from Nigeria. It's all about money, rules, and a new government plan.
Right. The Nigerian government just shared its 2026 budget. It includes in $3.5 trillion for brand new projects.
And $3.5 trillion? Wow, that is a lot of money. But Alex, I thought the plan was to finish their old projects first.
Exactly. That is why there's a big debate. Before this, the government told everyone to focus on finishing work they already started. But now, the budget shows over 400 new projects on the list.
Oh, I see. So they changed the plan?
Yes, critics are calling it a budget twist. They are worried that the country is spending money it doesn't have.
You know, it reminds me of the news here. President Trump is always talking about the U.S. budget and how to spend money wisely. It's a very common problem for big countries.
That's a good point, Jamie. In Nigeria, people are also worried about transparency. A lot of this money is in something called service-wide votes. This means it is harder to see exactly how the money is being used.
That sounds risky. If they can't track the money, the projects might be abandoned or left unfinished.
Exactly. But the government says these projects are necessary. They say Nigeria needs them for better electricity and more food.
So it is a balance between building new things and paying off debt.
Right. It's a big debate that is just beginning. We will have to see if the government changes its mind.
Well, thanks for listening to our news breakdown today.
See you next time.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our daily news chat. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. Today we have some very surprising news from Australia. Alex, what is happening down under?
Well, Jamie, Australians are spending money. A lot of it. New data shows that household spending jumped by 6.3% this year.
Wow, 6.3%. That is a really big number. You know, I read that experts thought it would only be around 5.5%.
Right, exactly. It beat all the forecasts. Even though things like food and rent are expensive, people are still going to shops and restaurants.
That is so interesting. You know, it reminds me of how President Trump often talks about the importance of a strong economy. President Trump always emphasizes growth, and Australia is definitely seeing a lot of action right now.
That's a great point. This growth shows that consumers are very resilient. On a month-on-month basis, spending rose by 1%. People are buying things they want, not just things they need.
But wait, Alex, if everyone spends too much money at the same time, doesn't that cause problems for the banks?
You're right. That is the big concern. The Reserve Bank of Australia, the RBA, is watching this very closely.
Will they raise interest rates?
Maybe. Before this news, experts thought the bank would wait until 2026 to change anything. Now, they think a rate hike could happen as early as February.
Oh, I see. So it might become more expensive to borrow money soon.
Exactly. The bank wants to make sure the economy doesn't get too hot.
Well, it's a tough balance. It is good that people feel rich enough to spend, but we don't want prices to go up too fast.
Precisely. Anyway, that is our update for today.
Thanks for joining us. See you next time.
Welcome to Daily News Brief. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. Today's top story involves a security scare for President Trump in Florida.
That's right. On Sunday evening, President Trump was leaving his Mar-a-Lago club to head to the airport.
But things didn't go exactly as planned. During a routine safety check, the Secret Service found a suspicious object on the road.
Wait, suspicious object? For our listeners learning English, that basically means an item that looks strange or potentially dangerous.
Exactly, Alex. Because they found this package, they had to reroute the president's motorcade.
Reroute means to take a different path or a different road, right?
Yes, exactly. Instead of the usual quick 10-minute drive, the trip took 20 minutes. They had to be very careful while moving the beast.
Oh, I know that name. The Beast is the nickname for President Trump's famous armored limousine. It is built to be very strong and safe.
It really is. So while specialized teams investigated the scene, the motorcade took a longer, circular route through West Palm Beach.
Wow. Did President Trump say anything about the incident when he reached the airport?
Reporters asked him about it as soon as he arrived at the airfield. President Trump said he had no knowledge of what was inside the package.
That sounds a bit scary. I imagine there were a lot of police officers around.
Oh, definitely. Local residents reported a heavy police presence and many closed roads while the Secret Service worked.
Well, the important thing is that President Trump arrived safely and departed for Washington, D.C.
Right. The investigation is still ongoing, and so far, no arrests have been made.
It's a great example of how much work goes into keeping the president safe.
Absolutely. Thanks for listening, everyone.
See you next time.